Welcome back. If you missed part 1, here's a quick recap. Abraham, known as the father of faith, didn't come from a religious background. He grew up in Ur, a place filled with idol worship, yet God still chose him. We followed his amazing journey from ancient Iraq to Haran, and then God called him again to go to the Promised Land. At 75, he left everything behind, guided only by faith. Now here's where it gets really interesting. What if Abraham had a direct link to the past? Someone who could tell him about life before the flood, about building the ark, and about God's actions. Today, we'll explore this fascinating connection that many overlook. The timing is too perfect to ignore. So stay tuned. This is going to be amazing. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss these incredible stories. Let's get started. Terah, Abraham's father, never made it to the Promised Land. He died in Haran at age 205. Can we just appreciate that 205 years though? That's like living through the invention of the wheel, the chariot, and TikTok. But here's the kicker. Only after his father's death did Abraham, now a spry 75 years young, finally continue the journey. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. 75 and just getting started. Let that sink in for a second. 75. Most people at 75 are retired already or thinking about retirement, early bird specials, and complaining about kids on their lawn. But Abraham, he's out here starting the greatest adventure of his life. No pension plan, no 401k, just pure, unfiltered faith and a divine GPS system. If you think you're too old to start something new, remember Abraham. The man was collecting Social Security age, well, ancient equivalent, when God said, "All right, now it's time for your real calling." So whether you're 25, 55, or 75, if Abraham could pack up his entire life at senior citizen age and walk into the unknown without even knowing the destination, what's stopping you? The mystery wasn't where he was going, it was who he was becoming along the way. Age is just a number, and faith is the ultimate navigation system. There are those who believe in every whisper, and there are those who don't seem to bother much. The question is, what can we gain from this? But why Abraham? What made him different? Here's the million-dollar question. From Adam to Noah to Shem to all the people alive in Abraham's time, why did God choose this particular man? Did Abraham have special powers? Was he already super religious? Did he perform some heroic deed? If you want to expand your thinking and deepen your understanding, come and let's delve together into meaningful studies and find the answer to the question. Is it true? The answer might surprise you. No. Before God called him, there's no biblical record of Abraham doing anything extraordinary. He was just a regular guy from a pagan family. So what set him apart? You're here because you crave the kind of stories most people miss. Ones that make you think, assess what you believe, and examine further the world around you. That's exactly what we deliver. We prioritize accuracy, depth, and a passion for uncovering things that matter and make sense. Be the one who knows stories others don't. We're here to help you become that person. We believe it's already within you, and we're just here to pull that out. His faith response. When God appeared and called Abraham, his response was immediate belief and obedience. He agreed to keep the covenant with God, and he was circumcised at 99 years old. The knife used must have been super sharp, because at that age, you don't have time for dull blades. One wrong move, and you're filing a divine insurance claim. His son Ishmael was also circumcised on the same day, and all his slaves. Cheaper by the dozen, baby. Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. Abraham believed God's promises even when they seemed impossible, like having a child when he was 100 years old. Against all hope, Abraham in hope believed, and so became the father of many nations. He trusted God when logic said, "This is crazy." His radical obedience. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. Imagine leaving everything: your home, your business, your friends, your comfort zone, for a destination unknown. That takes serious guts and serious faith. His character qualities. After God's call, Abraham demonstrated remarkable virtues. Generosity. When conflict arose with his nephew Lot over land, Abraham let Lot choose first. He could have pulled rank as the elder, but he chose peace over profit. Hospitality and sensibility. Abraham welcoming 3 strangers, who were actually divine beings, with extravagant generosity, preparing a feast, offering water, showing honor. Think of it like this. Abraham thought he was hosting a casual backyard BBQ for 3 random travelers, but it turned out to be a surprise visit from the CEO of the universe. At first, he's like, "Hey guys, come grab some shade and water." Super chill, right? But something in his gut said, "Wait, these aren't regular guests." So he goes from offering basic snacks to rolling out the red carpet treatment. Fresh bread, premium beef, the works. Then things get weird. These strangers start dropping knowledge bombs about Sarah having a baby, info they had no business knowing. It's like your Uber driver suddenly knowing your deepest secrets. Abraham's encounter was like answering your door expecting a pizza delivery guy, but it's actually Beyoncé in disguise, and you don't realize it until she starts singing. Justice. Abraham interceded for Sodom and Gomorrah, negotiating with God to spare the cities if righteous people could be found. He cared about justice and mercy. Courage. When his nephew Lot was captured by enemy kings, Abraham didn't hesitate. He took 318 trained men, pursued the armies, and rescued Lot in a daring night raid. Integrity. When buying a burial site for Sarah, Abraham insisted on paying full price rather than accepting it as a gift. He conducted business with honor. Avoid channels that are clickbait and waste your time with their flashy videos. Our channel is your home for the most captivating and deeply researched stories that bring them to life. It will leave you craving for more. We guarantee you'll be amazed with each visit. Alternatively, you can continue with content that offers little value, but remember, doing nothing can be costly too. God's sovereign choice and purpose. But here's the deeper truth. God's choice was ultimately about grace, not merit. God had a plan to bless all nations through Abraham's descendants, and he sovereignly chose Abraham as the vessel. "For I have chosen him, so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just." God saw that Abraham would become a spiritual leader, someone who would teach faith to future generations. The pattern of faith. Here's what makes Abraham's story so powerful. God appears first. Then faith responds. Abraham didn't earn God's attention through good works or religious rituals. God initiated the relationship, and Abraham took it seriously. He valued and cherished God's call, believing in it and responding with both action and trust. This pattern imparts an essential lesson. Even if God appeared to you numerous times, as he did to Abraham at Ur, at Haran, at Mamre, through visions, covenant ceremonies, and during the near sacrifice of Isaac, these experiences hold little value without faith, action, and trust. Ultimately, you must take accountability and steer towards your intended destination. You can see miracles, hear God's voice, witness supernatural events, but without trusting and obeying, you remain unchanged. Abraham was called God's friend, not because God appeared to him, but because he believed God and acted on that belief. Just go ahead and check it out. What's the worst that could happen, right? Don't be a chicken. Abraham had two brothers, Nahor and Haran. Haran died young in Ur and left behind a son named Lot. Abraham's wife, Sarah, was actually his half-sister. They shared the same father, Terah, but had different mothers. Abraham himself became father to 8 biological children: Ishmael with Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian servant; Isaac, the promised son, with Sarah; 6 more sons with Keturah after Sarah's death. He's still slugging it out at more than 100. What is he taking? But only Isaac carried the covenant promise forward. The others received gifts and were sent away, becoming fathers of other nations. I share unbelievable stories that may be new and of a different approach to you. Once it's live, only subscribers will be the first to know. My stories may not be for everyone, but if you have a passion to be different and want to dazzle your friends with style, you belong here. Each like and subscription fuels more incredible stories, ensuring you'll never be left out. The timeline connection. Shem, one of Noah's sons, was blessed by Noah, who said that Shem's descendants would have a special relationship with God. His great-grandson Aber was the ancestor of Abraham. Shem's lineage was chosen for spiritual blessings, including the covenant and the Messiah. Here's a mind-blowing fact. According to biblical chronology, Shem, who survived the flood, was still alive during Abraham's years. Stop everything. Shem was still alive when Abraham was born. Okay, let me just process this for a second. You're telling me that Shem, the actual ark passenger, the guy who literally floated through the apocalypse with his dad Noah, was casually walking around planet Earth when baby Abraham showed up? Yes. The answer is a massive, undeniable yes. Shem lived 600 years total. If you add up the genealogies, Shem and Abraham's lives overlap by about 150 years. But wait, there's more to this story that will blow your mind. We just talked about Shem living for 600 years and overlapping with Abraham for 150 years. In part 3, we're diving into something wild. What if Shem actually sat down with Abraham and shared everything? Imagine young Abraham listening to a 450-year-old man who survived the global flood. Picture Shem with baby Abraham sharing first-hand stories about life on the ark, watching the world get destroyed, feeding giraffes for over a year, seeing God's rainbow for the first time. This wasn't just history, it was living history. Abraham had access to a walking, talking, vintage encyclopedia with personal stories. But here's the big question. Did they actually meet? What did they talk about? How did this shape Abraham into the father of faith? Plus, we're debunking the 4 biggest myths about Abraham, including why you're never too old to start something new. If you thought this episode was amazing, part 3 will leave you absolutely amazed. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Do you think Shem and Abraham actually met?